The next big update for Modern Warfare is coming this week, it seems, and right off the bat, let's clear this up so it's not taken in a different context like the last mentioned big update. It's not the overhaul that was rumored for a while, which I know is going to be a bummer for some people, and as much as I'd like to see some fundamental shifts being made, it's not really what's going to be happening. But what looks to be happening is that update 1.13 that we've been waiting for a little bit of time now. Officially, we haven't seen anything previewed just yet in terms of the contents of what will be coming with this, but what we do have is a lead off from Joe Secott, design director for multiplayer on Modern Warfare, bringing up a little bit of what's to come within the upcoming week. So today, I want to catch you up to speed and get you ready for the coming week with a little bit of information on what to expect. So that said, let me know your thoughts below. What are you hoping to see fixed, adjusted, or added this week with an update to Modern Warfare? Drop your thoughts on whatever it may be in the comments down below, and as well, hit that subscribe button if you guys are new to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare on a daily basis. That said, let's begin. Now, this all began with a tweet from Joe Secott replying to somebody asking a little bit about some issues that they were having. Now, Twitter user Rig585 ended up asking, I know it's hard to even enjoy Twitter without being hounded by people about Modern Warfare fixes. Before Christmas, you said the kill feed would be fixed after the holidays. Most of us have been patiently waiting. Any update on it would be appreciated. Have a good day. To which Joe ended up replying, our next big update should have all of these fixes. We start pushing this update through this week. I don't have an exact date. Sorry. So by the indications here, it seems like that next update, one that is larger and needed to fix these changes because some of the stuff like that of what is mentioned isn't something that can be fixed with just a playlist update or a hotfix. So for the time being, I'd expect title update 1.13 to be coming here this week. And of course, that also means that if you are somebody that looks out for this kind of stuff, be prepared because you're going to need to download probably a larger file. And then if you're on PlayStation 4, you'll have to account for that copying time. So make sure it's something you can set some time aside to get that done. But the big question then comes down to when could we see this? Because that's still the big question mark here with this. We may have a general idea that sure, we can pinpoint it to the next week, the next 7 days, but that's not really anything that's a little bit more definitive. Now, normally my go-to would obviously be that of Tuesday. That's when we mainly see our title updates and content drops come out for Call of Duty, and Modern Warfare included with that now that we've kind of gotten in the synchronized schedule with what we normally know of. But I'm also a little bit skeptical and having some reservations about saying definitively, yeah, I think it's going to be tomorrow. Because this tweet was sent out yesterday afternoon, so Sunday, meaning that naturally we're close to when Tuesday would be finalized and having those plans set in stone. But with Joe explicitly saying that they don't have an exact date for it, that almost makes me think like it's not ready for what would be a release as of tomorrow. So while Tuesday is normally that safe bet and one that you could kind of count on, I'm also starting to wonder if we'll see what defaults then to the secondary and tertiary dates that we normally see in terms of that Call of Duty marketing. Thursday being the second option, and then Friday being that third, which we saw at the beginning of Modern Warfare's launch, a couple of content drops whenever we saw those 2-week intervals go by, in which we had content dropping 2 weeks after each other because the game launched on a Friday. So it's still partially a toss-up as to when we could see it, but I'm hoping sooner rather than later, because what we'll be seeing, firstly, is a lot of fixes. A lot of fixes within this game do need to be made, and I'm sure there are plenty that you could name off for yourself. The tweet in reference here starting this whole conversation was in direct response to adjustments to the kill feed, which I'm pretty sure we discussed briefly in the past, but kills were disappearing off the kill feed and still are, to which that was mentioned that it would be fixed along with other coming changes. And of course, like we said, there's a bunch of them, those including but not limited to under the map and in the map exploits and ground war, challenge fixes like the Mark 15 enemies with a recon drone and your officer challenges, teammate icons and name visibility issues, player collision that was added for some reason, and of course, like I said, you could probably name off a ton. We already did name off a ton. We discussed a ton of known issues with the game at the moment, much more of than that of what we just listed, but those are the big issues that I've seen and I know have been relayed to the studio, so they're at least aware of them. The other changes, again, I won't bore you with the details on all of them. We had, for the first time, a two-parter when it comes to changes coming in the next update. You can check those out. Those are up on the channel already. If you're interested in seeing over 30-some changes likely coming on a technical perspective with the next update. But other than that, we also could see, well, major content being added in as well. Real quickly before we continue, this video is brought to you in 4K in part with the help of my friends over at Elgato Gaming. I've been using their 4K60 Mark II and their first generation 4K60 Pro cards since their introduction for the best possible quality for console capture. One big thing that I always heard from you guys was about an external card, since those just mentioned are internal for PC. Well, today, Elgato actually unveiled their new 4K 60 S Plus, which has all the capabilities of the internal cards, but the portability and compact design of their external cards. 4K HDR capture with the best encoding performance possible, available to save on PC or an SD card. It's a game changer. If you're a content creator or a streamer and are looking for the best quality gear on the market, it can be yours soon, so check out Elgato's website, linked down there in the description below for more information. But anyways, as for content, like we mentioned, it's also likely that we'll be seeing more content added as for what, we don't exactly know, but it could be maps, it could be Spec Ops content, it could be, hell, even a new operator, because we've seen Ghost teased now a couple of times in main marketing and right in plain view in some cases, so maybe that kind of stuff comes down to it and is added with this title update. It's that one to give us more content. Again, don't want to bore you too much by reiterating what we've already discussed, but when it comes down to it, we're currently in the longest dry spell that we've had for Modern Warfare to date, which sounds kind of crazy. It's only been 3 weeks, but it's also the longest time that we've gone since Modern Warfare's release that we haven't gotten a new map, a new mode of some sort in terms of Spec Ops and that kind of stuff. So breaking a wave real quick, actually, I know there's a ton of gripes out there, and there are definitely some very valid ones, especially when it comes to things like huge game-breaking bugs and issues, but I gotta say, it's incredibly nice to see the frequency with drops that we're seeing within Modern Warfare. Before, we'd maybe see an update every month, and that was generous, but every 2 weeks, or in this case, potentially 3 weeks, that's kind of crazy to me. But anyways, being that it is the longest spell that we've had since launch in the game, it does seem like with people being able to come back from the holidays, being able to fit that in with another content edition could be reigniting that schedule for the content drop. And why it fits now is we actually, as we discussed last week a little bit, we kind of now have a balancing point for the rest of the season. We were in this weird little limbo period where at the point as of last week, we had 5 weeks left on the content schedule for what was available for Season 1. Season 1 surprisingly ends on a Monday the 3rd of February, so it's not going to be a traditional ending like we may know of, but it is something we had about 5 weeks, or like 4 weeks and a couple of days and change, so it didn't really match up with that 2-week interval that we had normally seen up until, again, the launch of Modern Warfare. So when you thought about it, we kind of had this at least 1 week where it would have to have nothing happen, or we'd have a double up on a week where we'd see an update right before the week before Season 2 ended up launching, assuming that it carries over immediately. So with having a blank as of last week for the holidays, it would make sense that we now see this week potentially being that week, 2 weeks later seeing the final update for Modern Warfare Season 1, and then 2 weeks after that being the Season 2 launch for Modern Warfare. So it kind of all fits now, and it comes back down to, as Thanos would say, it's perfectly balanced as all things should be. But regardless of what happens tomorrow or not, there are of course those housekeeping items that we will see as of tomorrow happen because they're on timed releases. So we're more than likely going to be getting a new playlist of some sorts. My guess, if I were to give you it, would be Capture the Flag, because we ended up seeing that Grind was introduced this past week, and that was in the game files. That was actually viewable within private matches. You could play it, you could jump in with that. But the other thing that has been there for quite some time now is actually that of Capture the Flag. And Capture the Flag was available to see in your leaderboards and your barracks, so that would round out all the game modes that are currently in the game. And again, if more comes with another update later this week, it would finish out the game modes still up on deck within the current build of the game as of tomorrow, and then later in the week, more would be introduced on the back end so that they could be ready for timed releases to maybe even finish out the rest of Season 1. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. And of course, we'll see then a new shop refresh. What that brings, your guess is as good as mine. My guess would be 2 different featured shop items, maybe 3 like this past week, but again, that's not necessarily the biggest care in my book. I don't think I've gotten a single featured item outside of Nikto, so with that said, that's kind of just a formality here for me to bring it up. I don't really care all that much, but all in all, we should be seeing some sort of update here. My guess, again, kind of comes down to later this week now thinking about it, where we'll see tomorrow round out things in terms of that playlist update. We'll see those shop items, but then on the back end, there will be even more added in as of the next title update. So I'm going to say maybe Wednesday or Thursday, but keep an eye open for that one. Of course, we'll keep you posted here on the channel. As anything happens, as anything goes live, we'll give you everything you need to know. But that said, sure seems like we can expect title update 1.13 3 weeks after the introduction of 1.12, and of course, a little bit later than probably a lot of us were expecting, given how many larger issues there are currently in the game, but seems like it's going to be coming as of this week. So that's where we're going to wrap it up. Wanted to keep you guys in the loop for what you need to know, what could be coming, and of course, why it all fits now. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular you guys, again, want to see fixed, anything added, anything adjusted, whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments, but hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel, so if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing on a daily basis. If you guys also want to get connected with me outside of YouTube, practically live on both Twitter and Instagram. Links in the description below if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, those links are down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.